phone was still warm in her hand when the whisper came through. "Don't look behind you." Maddie froze. Her breath caught in her throat as the line crackled softly, like something breathing on the other end. She tried to speak, but her voice wouldn't come out. The living room was quiet, too quiet except for the faint tick of the old clock above the fireplace. The lights flickered once. The whisper came again, this time slower, clearer. "I said, don't look behind you." Her heart pounded so hard it hurt. The reflection in the TV screen showed only her sitting alone on the couch, but then something moved behind her. She dropped the phone. The call ended with a soft click, and just as she turned her head, the power went out. 8 hours earlier, everything had seemed normal. Maddie Turner was 17 and saving up for college. Babysitting was her side hustle, safe, easy money, especially in quiet Maplewood, a small town where everyone knew everyone. Tonight's job was supposed to be no different. Watch little Chloe and Sam Miller, put them to bed by 9, and keep the TV volume low until their parents got back around midnight. The Millers lived in one of those big suburban homes with long driveways and spotless lawns. Maddie had babysat there twice before. The kids were sweet, the snacks were great, and the parents always tipped well. Mrs. Miller had smiled warmly before leaving. "You've got our number, right? Just call if you need anything." "Got it," Maddie said, waving as they drove off. The evening started off calm. The kids laughed through a Disney movie, popcorn scattered everywhere. Chloe, 6 years old, fell asleep halfway through, and Sam, 9, begged to stay up 10 more minutes. Maddie agreed she was that kind of babysitter, the nice one. By 9:30, both kids were asleep. The house was quiet, and Maddie scrolled through her phone, half watching an old sitcom, Thars. And the first call came. Unknown number. She hesitated, thinking it might be the Millers calling from a different phone. She answered. "Hello?" Nothing, just faint breathing. She frowned. "Hello, Mrs. Miller?" Click. The call ended. Maddie shrugged it off, assuming it was a wrong number. She turned the TV up slightly and went back to scrolling. But then, 2 minutes later, the phone rang again. Same number. "Hello?" she said again, a bit annoyed. Still silence, but this time she could hear something faint in the background, like a child humming. "Sam?" she called, thinking maybe one of the kids had grabbed another phone. She checked the hallway. The house was dark except for the light from the TV. She walked to the kids' room, both asleep, tucked in. Her phone buzzed again. A text this time. Unknown. "Why did you check the kids?" Maddie froze. Her mouth went dry. She slowly looked around, half expecting someone to step out of the shadows. She typed back, her fingers trembling. "Maddie, who is this?" No reply. She turned on all the downstairs lights, trying to laugh it off. Probably one of her friends playing a prank. But deep down, she felt something wasn't right. The Miller house suddenly felt different, too still. To calm herself, she went to the kitchen for water. That's when she noticed at the back door. It was unlocked. Maddie was sure she had locked it earlier. She even remembered turning the bolt. Now, it hung slightly open, letting in the cool night air. She quickly shut it and turned the lock, double-checking it twice. Then she went to grab her phone again and jumped when she saw a new message waiting. Unknown. "I told you to lock the door." Her heart thudded against her ribs. Someone was watching her. She turned off the TV and walked to the window, peering out into the yard. Nothing but the tall trees swaying under the streetlight. But she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was standing just beyond the edge of the light watching. She called the number back, straight to voicemail. Trying to stay calm, she texted Mrs. Miller. "Hey, just checking, did you or Mr. Miller try to call me? I've been getting weird calls." A minute later, the reply came. Mrs. Miller. "No, we didn't." "Everything okay?" Maddie hesitated before typing. "Yeah, it's fine. Probably just a prank, but it didn't feel fine." She sat on the couch, clutching her phone. The house was quiet again. Too quiet. The clock ticked loudly in the silence. Tick, tick, tick. Then came another sound. Soft footsteps upstairs. Her eyes darted to the ceiling. The kids were asleep upstairs. Maybe Sam got up for the bathroom. She waited, listening. Step, 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 then silence. Maddie whispered, "Sam?" No answer. She grabbed a flashlight from her bag and slowly climbed the stairs. Each creak in the floor sounded louder than it should have. When she reached the top, she found both bedroom doors closed, just as she'd left them. She opened Chloe's room first. The little girl was fast asleep, her teddy bear clutched tight. She checked Sam's room next, and he was snoring lightly, one leg hanging off the bed. Everything looked normal. Then she heard it again, a soft buzzing. Her phone left downstairs. She rushed down to grab it. Another call. Unknown number. With shaky hands, she answered. "Who is this?" A whisper replied. "You should have stayed upstairs." Her blood ran cold. She looked toward the stairs and froze. A shadow was moving at the top landing. The call stayed connected. The whisper came again, this time right in her ear. "Don't look behind you." The line crackled, and the lights flickered again. Then, a thud echoed from upstairs. It sounded like a door slamming, and a child screaming. Maddie ran toward the stairs. Maddie's heart leapt into her throat as she sprinted up the stairs, flashlight shaking in her trembling hand. "Chloe! Sam!" she shouted, her voice breaking. The scream had come from Sam's room. She pushed open the door. It banged against a wall. Sam sat upright in bed, crying, his small hands clutching his blanket. "What happened?" Maddie gasped, running to him. He pointed toward the dark corner of his room, voice quivering. There was someone standing there. Maddie swung the flashlight around. Nothing. Just the pale wallpaper, the toy shelf, and a pile of clothes. The window was closed tight. She hugged him close, forcing a shaky smile. "It's okay, sweetheart. You probably just had a bad dream, all right?" But as she said it, her eyes caught something. The closet door. It was open, just a crack. She could have sworn it was closed earlier. Her stomach knotted. Slowly, she stood up and moved toward it, every step heavier than the last. Sam sniffled, watching her with wide, wet eyes. She reached out and pushed the door open empty, just coats and a pile of boxes, but the smell hit her a faint, strange odor, like wet dirt and something metallic. She wrinkled her nose. The smell seemed stronger near the back wall. "Maddie," Sam whispered. She forced another smile. "It's fine, buddy. Let's just go downstairs, okay?" She tucked him under one arm and hurried out, flicking the hallway light on. The bulb blinked once, then twice, and went out. The house plunged into darkness again. From Chloe's room came the soft, dragging sound of something moving. Maddie froze mid-step. Then came a faint giggle. She turned sharply toward Chloe's door. "Chloe?" The giggle stopped. Maddie opened the door slowly, her heart thudding in her ears. The flashlight beam trembled across the room. Chloe was sitting on her bed, awake now, staring at the window. "What are you doing up, honey?" Maddie asked, trying to sound calm. Chloe turned her head slowly. Her eyes looked strange, unfocused, like she was still half asleep. "The man said you shouldn't have looked in the closet," she whispered. Maddie's skin went cold. "What man?" Chloe didn't answer. She pointed to the window. The curtain moved slightly, even though the window was closed. Maddie's mouth went dry. She grabbed both kids and hurried downstairs, locking herself and them in the living room. She shut all the lights off except one lamp near the couch. The kids sat huddled together, and Maddie grabbed her phone, hands shaking as she dialed 911. "911, what's your emergency?" "There's someone in the house," she whispered. "I'm babysitting. I keep getting calls someone's watching us." The operator's voice stayed calm. "Okay, ma'am, stay on the line. What's your location?" She gave the address, whispering every word. "Help is on the way. Can you lock all the doors?" "Yes, Her phone buzzed. "Incoming call. Unknown number." Her stomach dropped. The operator said, "Don't answer that call. Stay on the line with me, okay?" But the phone buzzed again, then again. The screen kept flashing. Unknown number. Maddie pressed it to her chest, trying to muffle the sound. "They keep calling," she whispered. "Officers are on their way," the operator said. "Just keep quiet and stay inside." The line crackled and then went dead. Her phone screen went black. No service. The room seemed to shrink around her. Every creak of the house made her jump. Then Sam tugged on her sleeve. "Maddie, look!" She turned toward the big window by the couch. Outside, under the yellow porch light, a tall figure stood near the edge of the yard, perfectly still. Her breath hitched. He wasn't moving. He wasn't even trying to hide, just standing there watching. She could barely make out his face, but something about him looked wrong. His head tilted slightly, as if he was studying her. Maddie whispered, "Don't move." Then, slowly, the man lifted a phone to his ear. A second later, her phone started to ring. Unknown number. She stared at the screen, frozen in terror. The kids whimpered softly. Chloe buried her face in Maddie's arm. The call rang and then stopped. Silence. When she looked back at the window, the man was gone. Her heart hammered. She ran to the window, yanking the curtains shut. "It's okay," she whispered to the kids, though her voice shook. "We're okay." But then came another sound, a faint creak, from the hallway. She turned her flashlight toward the sound the front door. It was open. The air in the room turned heavy, cold. She could see the doorknob moving slightly, like someone had just stepped inside. Maddie grabbed the fireplace poker with her free hand and whispered to the kids, "Go hide behind the couch. Don't come out, no matter what." Her pulse pounded in her ears as she took one slow step forward. The floorboard creaked beneath her feet, and then the phone rang again. She jumped. It wasn't her phone this time. It was the landline, the one on the kitchen wall. It rang twice, 3 times, 4. On the 5th ring, Maddie couldn't take it anymore. She lifted the receiver with shaking hands. "Hello?" she whispered. A low voice came through, calm and cold. "You should never have answered that first call." Her knees went weak. She tried to speak, but only air came out. The voice continued. "You were supposed to let it ring." Then silence. The line stayed open, no sound, no breathing, nothing. Until from upstairs, a door slammed. Then a single, echoing footstep. Someone was back up there. Maddie dropped the phone. The dial tone buzzed loudly through the room. The kids were crying now, whispering her name. She turned toward them, and that's when the lights went out again. Complete darkness. And from the top of the stairs came a slow, heavy breathing. Then a whisper. "Maddie. Maddie." The whisper floated down the stairs slow, almost teasing. She froze in place, clutching the fireplace poker so tight her knuckles turned white. The kids whimpered softly behind the couch, their small bodies shaking. "Who's there?" Maddie called out, trying to sound brave, though her voice cracked halfway through. "No, sour." Only the steady sound of breathing, loud, raspy, and close. Her flashlight flickered weakly, the beam shaking across the steps. She aimed it toward the top of the staircase. Nothing. But she could feel it. Someone was up there, watching her. Her phone was dead, the landline buzzing uselessly off the hook. The house felt trapped in silence. Even the ticking clock had stopped. Then, one step creaked, another. Someone was coming down. "Stay there," Maddie shouted, gripping the poker like a weapon. "I already called the police." The breathing paused. Then a man's voice, soft, cold, and almost amused, replied, "No, you didn't." Her flashlight flickered out completely. The darkness swallowed everything. She screamed, swinging the poker blindly. It hit nothing. Then something brushed against her shoulder. She turned sharply, heart hammering, but there was no one there. Suddenly, a crash came from the kitchen glass shattering, metal clanging. Maddie spun around and rushed toward it, hoping maybe the noise would scare whoever it was away. The kitchen window above the sink was open. The wind howled through, curtains whipping. She stared at the broken glass on the floor. Then she saw it muddy footprints. They led from the window into the hall. Someone had come in. "Maddie," Chloe's small voice called from behind the couch, trembling. "He's inside." Her heart dropped. "Don't move," she hissed. "Stay hidden, okay? Don't come out no matter what happens." She followed the footprints, the beam of her dying flashlight barely lighting her way. They led toward the stairs back up. The house groaned around her, the old wood moaning with each step. Somewhere, a faucet dripped steadily, like a slow heartbeat. When she reached the first step, her phone lit up in her pocket. 1 bar of service. She pulled it out quickly, a text. "Unknown. You shouldn't have left them alone." Her breath caught. She turned toward the living room. "The kids!" She ran back. The space behind the couch was empty. "Chloe? Sam?" she called, panic rising. "Come out, sweethearts. It's okay." Nothing. Only the faint rustle of curtains swaying near the window. She stepped closer, and that's when she saw it. Tiny fingerprints on the glass. And next to them, smudges adult-sized. "No," Maddie whispered. The window was open just a crack. Outside, the yard was empty, but the gate was swinging slowly in the wind. Her mind raced. She was supposed to protect them. She should have called sooner, should have locked everything twice. And then the phone rang again, the same number. Her fingers trembled as she answered. "Where are they?" she screamed. The voice chuckled. "You left them with me." Maddie's scream echoed through the dark house. "You stay away from them." The voice lowered. "You want them back?" She hesitated, tears stinging her eyes. "Yes, please just don't hurt them. Then come upstairs." The line went dead. Her legs felt weak, but she moved anyway. Every step creaked under her feet. The flashlight barely worked now. The beam flickered and pulsed with every breath she took. When she reached the top, the hallway was colder, the air thick like fog. The kids' bedroom doors stood wide open. Inside Chloe's room, the little girl's teddy bear sat on the floor, but its head was turned backward. In Sam's room, the bed was empty, but written across the wall, in red letters that dripped slowly down, were the words, "Answer the final call." Her phone buzzed again, incoming call, unknown number. Her hands shook so hard she could barely lift it. She pressed answer. A voice whispered, "You should see your reflection." Maddie turned slowly toward the mirror across the room. In its dim surface, she saw herself pale, trembling, eyes wide, and behind her, a tall, dark figure standing in the doorway. She spun around. No one there. The mirror showed it again closer this time. Her breath came in short gasps. She raised the flashlight and stepped backward. The floor creaked once, twice, then gave whoop, a slightly beneath her foot. A hidden door in the floor popped open. Maddie gasped as a rush of cold air hit her. A narrow set of wooden steps led down into darkness. A basement. She didn't remember ever seeing one here before. From somewhere below, a faint sound echoed a soft ringing. A phone. Her body stiffened. It was coming from down there. The final call. She swallowed hard, whispering to herself, "For the kids." Then she stepped into the darkness, flashlight trembling in her grip. Each stair creaked like a scream. The deeper she went, the colder it became. The smell hit her again, wet dirt and metal. At the bottom, she saw a single light bulb swinging gently. Under it, 2 small chairs, empty. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Another text. Unknown. You were right. It is a true story. The sound of breathing came from behind her. She turned